Now I would like to introduce Dr. Gus Kousoulas. Dr. Kousoulas is a professor of virology and biotechnology in the Department of Pathobiological Sciences and the director of the Division of Biotechnology and Molecular Medicine. He is the director of the NIH-funded Center in Experimental Infectious Disease Research and the director of the NIH-funded Louisiana Biomedical Research Network Molecular and Cell Biology Core. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Gus Kousoulas. Dr. Kousoulas, are you able to unmute your microphone?
Yeah, now it's unmuted. I couldn't unmute it earlier, it was blocked. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you, Laura, for the introduction. I wanted to sort of update a little bit what you said. I'm also department head in pathobiological sciences, and we are pleased here at the LSU School of Veterinary Medicine that we have two additional centers, the Lung Biology Center that's led by Dr. Samitabi Jayashilan, as well as a preclinical cancer COBRI that's led by Dr. Joseph Francis. The molecular cores of both of those centers, as well as the previous Center in Infectious Diseases, it's actually administered by my division of biotechnology and molecular medicine, with essential elements, the core facility gene lab that provides next-gen sequencing and bioinformatic analysis internally, as well as in collaboration with Pine Biotech. But I'm here to talk to you today about the nonprofit organization which I represent as the president. And Laura, can I share my slides?
Yes, you should be able to share those.
Okay. So you should be able to see, I hope, my slides now. So the National Association of IDeA Principal Investigators is a not-for-profit organization representing all the centers that are funded by the National Institutes of Health, the National Institutes of General Medical Sciences. That includes more than 170 centers for biomedical research excellence that are funded by the COBRI mechanism, 24 of the IMBRE mechanisms, as well as multiple clinical translational centers and other programs that are run through the manpower division, capacity division of NGMS. So the purpose of NEPI is really to promote the IDEA programs. Again, we're a not-for-profit organization that is principally to foster interactions and to promote research sharing. And the website is as shown here, at nepi.org. There's a number of very important information, including resources and training resources that we have made available freely, either through participation of different programs and also through collaboration with Pine Biotech. And I really urge you to explore this website and look at the opportunities that we offer. In addition, NEPI is partnering with LSU to manage the National IDEA conference. It happens every 2 years. The next conference is called NISBRI. It will be the first week of October, and it will be virtual, and it would allow a glimpse of all these 23 states and Puerto Rico programs, the COBRI, the IMBRIs, the CTRs, the co-funded programs, as well as some of the specialized programs. We expect over 1,000 people to participate on the virtual meeting. The contract has been awarded by NIH to LSU, and NEPI is collaborating with LSU to manage this national meeting The next meeting after that will be 2024 and 2026 in person in Washington, D.C. The first meeting on 2022 will be virtual meeting, and it will have a number of other resources, training, as well as participation of major companies. We hope Google, Amazon, IBM, and others. So the next slide, this is the leadership of NEPI. I am the current president of NEPI, and these are the officers for the executive committee. We also do have a steering committee having 4 members representing the different programs from each of the 4 geographically different portions of the country, south, east, west, north. And we meet periodically to ascertain how to promote better the interactions with NIH and also with all our constituents. Of course, as I reiterated, to reiterate now, the mission of NEPI is to provide leadership and communication for the development, promotion, and improvement of biomedical research through the INBRI, COBRI entrepreneurship hubs. This is a new type of program that has been developed to also facilitate entrepreneurship within the IDEA states, and of course the CTR IDEA programs. The objective is to foster interactions, to promote resource sharing, to enhance the visibility of the IDEA program, to develop a consensus of priorities, and to identify, disseminate best practices, and to identify opportunities and develop strategies to achieve the common goals of the IDEA program. One of the major emphases of NIH, as well as of the IDEA program, especially through the INBRI mechanisms, is really the training of a pipeline of investigators, starting from undergraduates to graduate students to postdocs to faculty in data science and bioinformatics. So therefore, one of the major goals of NEPI is to share resources and provide avenues for training in data science and bioinformatics through NEPI, as well as through the individual components that represent the IDEA program. So in terms of the history of the IDEA program, it started in 1993. The purpose was to broaden the geographical distribution of NIH funding for biomedical research and behavioral research. It focuses on health-related research, and the reasoning is to enhance the competitiveness of investigators at all institutions located in states, which the aggregate success rate for the application of NIH has been historically low. If you look really at the trajectory of this program, it's actually quite amazing that the IDEA program has achieved a number of different important thresholds, including the graduation of young investigators with R1 nationally competitive applications at a younger age, and with increased success rate, even comparing all NIH programs across the board. So we are really to promote science and create a pipeline of investigators, starting from undergraduates all the way to faculty, and hopefully through tenure and the promotion of program grant funding. So this is the type of funding that has been received so far. In 2021, there were $396 million allocated to the IDEA as part of the overall budget. The goal of NEPI is to facilitate, in collaboration with the EPSCoR Foundation, EPSCoR Coalition, up to 1% of the NIH budget to be targeted to IDEA programs. We're a little bit below that at this point. The projection for 2022 is at $410 million, but still under the projected, or at least the what we wish, which is 1% of the total NIH budget. Mind you, for 23 states in Puerto Rico, practically half of the states in the country. This is the type of contributions, different programs, highlighted only a few programs, but you can see in North Dakota, more than half of the funding for all NIH funding for that state comes from the IDEA program. In other states, like Louisiana, a little bit more successful. It's a smaller portion, But critically, I think this particular component here facilitates a number of people that are actually now nationally competitive are able to compete and get traditional categorical funding through competitive awards beyond at the national level. So it's a very critical component of what the NIH is doing. These are the principal components of the IDeA funding, the COBRI programs. The purpose of this COBRI is to graduate people with independent funding, hopefully R1 funding over a 15-year period. The IMBRI program, it's only one per state, and that really focuses on the pipeline from undergraduates all the way to graduate and faculty. It has a number of primarily undergraduate institutions, and it has a critical component in teaching, mentoring, and training in data science and bioinformatics. In fact, one of the principal cores, which is mandatory for all these programs, is a data science bioinformatics core right now that we also have in our own program. We also have the clinical translational research centers that are really sort of smaller clinical translational centers, the CTSAs as they're named, and these are really targeting the IDEA states for clinical and translational research. One important component of the IDEA program is co-funding. People that go for our 1s or 15s or S10 applications may get a boost and get funded probably within 5 percentile points through co-funding between IGMS IDEA and the Categorical Institute. And of course, the new addition is the Regional Technology Transfer Hubs, STTRs. There are 4 that are active right now. There may be additional ones coming up in the next round of applications. And the idea is to really increase the number of SBIRs, STTR grants that are funded in the IDEA states, since they're not really participating to a large extent in this particular pool of funding that comes from federal sources. Part of the IDEA networks is also the use of cloud computing that you just heard, the STRIDE program for Google and Amazon. And there are special allocations and supplemental funding for that. There are promotion of statewide regional networks that are promoted through in a variety of different ways beyond just the CTRs. And this involves a specific co-funding coordinator that has been appointed for each NIC Categorical Institute. The regional hubs also have pilot programs, and they also teach fundamentals for technology core directors to promote entrepreneurship. There are also supplemental fundings that came to increase connectivity between IMBRIs and COBRIs, CTRs, and so on. We've been the recipients of multiple of those supplemental funding. And part of the idea is to connect all these IDEA programs together through regional centers and promote collaboration among all the programs. And then, of course, there were specialized programs because of the pandemic, the COVID-19 patient registry, cloud computing, as already mentioned. And then there is NIH-wide research initiatives that are also linked to programs within NIGMS and the IDEA program. This is the map of the IDEA states. As you see, they're all over the country. And the focus is to also bring those states up to become competitive for NIH funding as well as other federal funding. So NEPI, through its website, has a number of very important activities. It funds IDEA undergraduate traveling to Washington, D.C. for the meeting, as well as for registration into our virtual NISBRI meeting in 2022. We have awards for undergraduate and graduate students that we actually already have allocated to our regional IDEA meetings that happen in between the national NISBRI meeting. And we were happy to award up to $3,000 to individual undergraduate and graduate students and assistant professors in each of those regional meetings that already have occurred. We can have access to IDEA-wide databases and research expertise through the NEPI website, which is actually increasingly populated with new information. And ultimately, we do provide discounts to virtual courses in that data science and bioinformatics through a variety of programs, but also through collaboration with Pine Biotech and through a grant that we received from the Tober Foundation that allows certain of these scholarships, as well as support for certain seminars that we'll be promoting in the national NISBRI meeting that will happen the first week of October. Part of the sponsored symposia was the previous Omics Research Symposium that happened, the Omics one in August 21 and 22. We also have advertised and support this Omics Symposium that has been put together in collaboration with Pine Biotech that provides, I think, important information. And all these recorded sessions will be available through the NEPI website that we have. So this is what I had to tell you about NEPI. I would certainly encourage you to look at the NEPI website. We are going into a major campaign to organize this virtual meeting. Originally, it was supposed to be in person in June. However, we only just received the notice of award for NIH for the next 3 meetings. So the next meeting would be the first week of October. I believe October 4th, 5, and 6. It will be a virtual meeting, and we hope that the registration for this particular meeting will open hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And I would urge all of you to participate in this meeting, because you're going to see the breadth of all the research that is being supported by the IDeA program. Not only our IMBRI programs, but also the COBRIs, the CTRs, some of the specific networks that have been funded by NGMS for child health and cancer and beyond that. So I would point you to that website, the NEPI website, for more information as it becomes available. So thank you for participating. It's a very important activity that Pine Biotech in collaboration with others has put together. And I look forward to attend some of the next sessions and answer any questions that you may have. Laura?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kousoulas. That was a very informative talk. We have one question for you. How can NAPI members participate in the educational resource development NAPI is doing?
Yeah, so basically through the website, there is a form for any content that you have that you could actually share. If you're willing to share it, NEPI will promote it. We have over 1,000 people registered on our automated emailing system that would alert them of that resource. And we are actually in the process of mailing out to major providers, which includes Google and others, to link some of their content through our NEPI website and potentially provide some discounts or support as it has been done with NIH. So I would urge you to contact the NEPI webmaster and let us know. You can let me personally know what you may be thinking, and I will be happy to share it with you or point you to the right material.
Great, thank you. Another question. So can faculties at universities that aren't involved in NAPI get involved?
Yes, actually the NEPI website is really free, accessible to all. So all the content is available, and we welcome any participation from non-IDEA states that could share with us content or information or resources. Obviously, we're trying to make this information for the most part free or heavily discounted for our NEPI members. But absolutely, yes, we welcome anybody through our NEPI website to communicate with us and offer advice, material, whatever that may be.
Great, thank you very much. Well, I don't think there are any more questions for you, so thank you very much again for presenting.